Are your thoughts really your own? Or are they just echoes of your parents, your teachers, the news you watch, the feed you scroll through every single day? Think about your most deeply held belief, your idea of right and wrong, good and evil. Where did it actually come from? Did you forge it in the fire of your own experience, or was it just handed to you? The 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a name for the person who breaks free from this echo chamber. A rare, almost mythical individual he called the free spirit, the Freigeist. This isn't about being a rebel for the sake of it. It's not about dyed hair and contrarian opinions. That's just another uniform, another herd. No, the true free spirit is something far more dangerous and far more powerful. They are the intellectual daredevils, the explorers of forbidden thoughts. They see the invisible cages that society builds around our minds, the cage of tradition, the cage of comfort, the cage of so-called morality, and they don't just rattle the bars. They smash them to pieces. Most people live their entire lives inside these cages and they don't even know it. They think the painted backdrop is the real horizon. They follow the herd because it's safe. It's warm. The herd protects you, but it also blinds you. The free spirit chooses a different path, a harder path, a path that is often lonely and misunderstood, but it's the only path that leads to one thing: genuine, uncompromising freedom of the mind. But how do you become one? How do you stop being a mouthpiece for others and develop a mind that cannot be controlled? Nietzsche left a blueprint, a series of ruthless rules for intellectual liberation. Today, we're unlocking 7 of them. Rule number 1, question your chains. Nietzsche famously declared that there are no eternal facts, just as there are no absolute moralities. Every value you hold dear was created by someone, at some point, for some purpose. The free spirit doesn't accept these values blindly. They become a detective of their own beliefs. You were told humility is a virtue, but then, who does your humility actually serve? Is it empowering you, or is it making you easier to control? You were taught that certain ambitions are noble and others are selfish. Says who? By what authority? The first act of the free spirit is to put every single one of their inherited beliefs on trial for its life, and most of them won't survive the interrogation. Think about the modern gospel of success. The 9-to-5 grind until you're 65. Is that your definition of a life well lived, or is it just the most well-trodden path in the pasture? Is the constant hustle for more making you free, or is it just a more decorated cage? You must have the courage to look at the very foundation of your morality and ask the most terrifying question of all. What if it's all a lie? A convenient story we tell ourselves to feel safe. This leads directly to rule number 2, seek the wilderness. The herd is loud. It's a constant storm of opinions, trends, and outrage. In this noise, you can't hear your own thoughts. You can only hear the herd's thoughts, amplified 1,000,000 times. The free spirit must escape, not necessarily to a mountain or a forest, but to a place of mental solitude. You have to disconnect from the constant stream of information. Log off, turn off the noise. Be alone with your own mind, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Solitude is the laboratory of the spirit. It's where you can finally examine your thoughts without judgment from the crowd. It's where you can follow a strange idea down a rabbit hole without worrying if it's a correct or popular idea. It is where you find yourself. In the silence of the wilderness, the echoes of the herd finally fade, and for the first time you might hear a faint, unfamiliar voice. Your own. Listen to it, nurture it. It is your only true guide. Rule number 3, become a lawgiver unto yourself. Once you've questioned the old values and found your own voice in solitude, what's next? You can't live in a vacuum. The free spirit doesn't just destroy, they create. This is the most demanding step. Instead of inheriting your values, you must forge your own, based on your experiences, your strengths, your highest aspirations. You stop asking the world what is good, and you start declaring for yourself. This is what I will call good. This isn't about doing whatever you feel like. That's slavery to impulse. This is about establishing a higher, personal code of conduct. It's about setting your own goals, defining your own version of a life well lived, and then holding yourself to that standard with iron discipline. You become your own judge, your own jury, and your own king. This is true responsibility. It's much harder than just following someone else's rules, which is why so few people ever attempt it. Now this new path will awaken powerful forces within you. Which brings us to rule number 4, tame your inner dragons. Society teaches us to fear our passions, our ambition, our anger, our desires. We're told to suppress them, to chain them up in the dungeon of our subconscious. Nietzsche saw this as a terrible mistake. Your passions are not your enemies. They are a source of immense energy. They are wild horses or dragons full of fire and power. Chaining them up only makes you weak and resentful. The free spirit doesn't slay their dragons. They learn to ride them. You must understand your deepest drives. You harness your ambition and point it towards your self-created goals. You use your anger as fuel to burn through obstacles. You channel your desire into breathtaking acts of creation. Mastering your passions, rather than being mastered by them, is the difference between a self-directed creator and a chaotic mess. The energy is the same. The only question is, who is holding the reins? But the path of the free spirit is not all triumph. It's filled with pain, with failure, with suffering. What do you do then? Rule number 5, say yes to everything. Nietzsche called this concept amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is perhaps his most radical idea. It's easy to love your life when things are going well, but can you love it when you fail, when you're betrayed, when you experience profound loss? Can you look at the absolute worst moments of your life, the things that broke you, and say yes? Amor fati means not just accepting your fate, but loving it. It means understanding that every single event, good and bad, was necessary to make you who you are. To remove even the worst suffering would be to unravel the entire tapestry of your existence. The free spirit doesn't wish for a different life. They don't say, if only this hadn't happened. They embrace their entire story, the scars and the victories, and they would not have it any other way. They want nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This is the ultimate psychological freedom. The freedom from regret, from resentment, and from wishing reality were something other than what it is. It is the power to affirm your own life, unconditionally. This fearless affirmation of reality leads to rule number 6, hunt for dangerous truths. The average person seeks knowledge for comfort. They read books and watch videos that confirm what they already believe. It makes them feel safe, secure, and smart. It reinforces the walls of their cage. The free spirit does the opposite. They seek knowledge that shatters their worldview. They actively hunt for the ideas that scare them, the arguments that challenge their most cherished beliefs. They read the author they disagree with most. They listen to the perspective they find most offensive. Why? Because they don't want to be comfortable. They want to be strong. And intellectual strength is only built by wrestling with difficult, even terrifying ideas. A belief that cannot survive a challenge isn't a belief worth having. It's just a prejudice. For the free spirit, knowledge is not a warm blanket. It's a hammer with which they can test the integrity of their own ideas, and if those ideas shatter, good. It means they were weak. It means they have cleared the ground to build something stronger. This relentless process of questioning, destroying, and rebuilding brings us to the final and most important rule. Rule number 7, become your own masterpiece. Nietzsche's philosophy is not about finding a final truth and then resting. The free spirit is not a destination you arrive at. It is a constant, unending process of self-overcoming. You are not a fixed entity. You are a project. You are a work of art. Every day you must work on yourself. You identify a weakness, a limiting belief, a comfortable habit, and you go to war with it. You consciously and deliberately sculpt your own character, your own mind, your own will. The person you are today must be overcome to create the person you will be tomorrow. You are the clay, but you are also the sculptor. You must be ruthless with yourself, cutting away the parts that are weak, undisciplined, or inauthentic. This is the essence of Nietzsche's famous Übermensch, or overman. It's not a final form, but the very process of reaching for something higher within yourself, again and again and again. The goal is not perfection, but perpetual growth. Your life itself becomes your greatest creation, a testament to what an individual can become when they refuse to be defined by the herd and instead choose to define themselves. A life lived with purpose, on purpose. So there they are, Nietzsche's 7 ruthless rules for becoming a free spirit. Question your chains, seek the wilderness, become your own lawgiver, tame your inner dragons, say yes to everything, hunt for dangerous truths, and become your own masterpiece. This path is not for everyone. In fact, Nietzsche believed it was for almost no one. It is a path of profound loneliness, constant struggle, and immense psychological danger. You risk being misunderstood, ostracized, and hated. The herd will call you arrogant. They will call you immoral. They will call you crazy. Because a free mind is the most terrifying thing in the world to those who live in cages. It reminds them of their own bars. But for those few who dare to walk it, the reward is something the herd can never offer. Not safety, not comfort, not belonging. Something far more valuable, the freedom to be who you truly are. The herd offers stability and the warmth of shared illusions. The path of the free spirit offers only one thing in return for everything you must sacrifice: yourself. Authentically, uncompromisingly, free. So the question isn't whether you can break the chains. It's not about whether you have the courage. The real question, the one you must now ask yourself in the silence, is this: are your thoughts really your own?